Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm not sure who will be here. This was very short notice, and I'm not necessarily planning to be here for very long. I just want to address a few things this morning and then get on with my day. So, a couple of things. I received a comment. First, if someone is here, if they can tell me that they can see and they can hear, that would be awesome. I need to see if I can stop this preview. It's so annoying. All right, let me get back to the stream now. Hi, Sylvie. How are you? Sylvie, speaking of Sylvie, I think you were the person who recommended the is it called Pern Chronicles? I think it's called Pern Chronicles, the series by Anne McCaffrey. I went ahead and started reading that series, and the plague that is in that series is quite interesting. I found it to be timely, even though it was written years ago. But anyway, okay, so I received a comment on YouTube a couple of days ago, and to be honest with you, I've not been online hardly at all. And so when I saw that comment, in the comment, they mentioned that my website was down. So I went and looked. Oh, it wasn't you? Okay, no problem. Whoever it was, thank you. Hi, Linda. Anyway, I went and checked my website and was like, oh, yeah, apparently the automatic payment didn't go through, or it's not on an automatic payment. I thought it was. I normally just pay it by the year annually, but someone, not me, did not fill out the taxes properly this year, and that's what I usually use the tax money for. So I was just doing it month to month, and I know that at least January and February went through automatically. So I don't know what happened, but anyway, my website is definitely down. I could get it back, but to be honest, I'm not teaching anymore, so I'm kind of like hard pressed to see a need to even pay for it. I didn't even hardly ever go there. And I mean, I know that maybe some people did go there. I don't know. Like, if people give me a compelling reason why I should keep it, I can still go back and resurrect it I don't know, probably for another 15 days or something. But I just can't be bothered, to be honest with you. So that's what happened to the website. Christy forgot about it and didn't pay it, apparently. But again, I couldn't really care because I'm not teaching classes. I'm not hosting anything. All my classes are up on YouTube. So I just can't be bothered. Other than that, what have I been doing during quarantine? Well, I've been sleeping a lot. And I know that that is how I deal with depression, even though I won't say I ever really understood that it was depression. I just thought I was someone who liked to sleep a lot. I've always been, a huge advocate for taking a nap whenever I want it. Whenever you feel like you are tired, you're better to take a quick nap than you are to try to keep working through it, because you tend to make mistakes when you're tired. And as a programmer, avoiding mistakes is high on the priority list. So, but apparently, I think it is how I am, coping with because my depression isn't just around the pandemic or the quarantine. Most of my depression is around what has happened, the utter lawlessness and corruption that is our political system in this country. And frankly, both parties in our government, I feel that they are, I'm just disgusted by them. Like literally, I have nothing but disgust for them. The discrimination, the cruelty, the fact that clearly 90% of the population in this country is throwaway as far as our government is concerned. Yeah, so my thoughts on that and what happened with the not even finished yet primary um, just completely threw me into this like utter um, abyss, because when you realize that you're considered part of the group that they don't care if you die. In fact, I think at this point they would prefer that many of us did die. That's really hard for someone like me to try to come to terms with. So I've been sleeping a lot. And the few times where I start to feel like I'm coming out of it and I'm getting, that things are going to get, not that like the world's going to get better or anything, but just like I start to be able to, I come across as very much a pessimist, but the truth is that most pessimists are actually very optimistic. And so we bounce back really, I think, easier than a true optimist does. And every time I have felt that sort of bouncing back happening, something else terrible has happened. The death toll in my state and definitely in my area has not seen even a remote hint of a flattening. It's just literally this. And that is really, I'm going to cough. I'm sorry. Let me try to mute. Hold on. And yes, I have seasonal allergies, which is really like insane to be someone who suffers from seasonal allergies in a time when everyone, if you cough, they're like, "Oh, get away from me." You know what I mean? I'm gonna try some coffee. Hold on. I'm gonna paint while I talk, or draw, or whatever, because that's the point to an art video, right? um, anyway, so every time I would kind of try to bounce back, or I would feel just like, get up in the morning and actually want to get up and start my day, something else terrible has happened. So, interestingly enough, it's not like a thing I ever wanted to know, but interestingly enough, when you're in the middle of, a crisis, multiple crises, however you say that, happening, life doesn't stop, and bad things happen to people in the middle of bad things happening. So I have had bad things happening in my personal life. So I kind of feel like I just want to say, to those of you that are out there watching, if you haven't had anything bad happen to you because of everything that's going on, don't forget or don't discount that bad things are happening to other people, that are the kinds of things that maybe would naturally happen. So, you've lost a loved one, or a close family friend. Someone's going through a divorce. Someone's going through loss of job and income. Maybe they're at risk of losing either their home or just the place where they live, because they can't make rent, they can't find food or can't afford food. A lot of people are struggling, like right now. Just to even see someone who is, living paycheck to paycheck, to see them like their vehicle breakdown, that literally can be like an end point for them. And because of the cruelty in our country, and our government is so cruel now, they don't, there's no help for them. A $1,200 one-time only stimulus check is not going to help someone whose car broke down, who's got laid off from their job, and who has no medical insurance. Or conversely, people who have health issues that they either already had and they need to seek care in the middle of this, and they can't because you can't go to your doctor, or people who are developing, like someone who would normally have gotten in to get that check up and find out they had cancer, they may end up dying simply because you can't get into the doctor for just a regular type of checkup, or, you know, things like that. There's so much incredible amounts of cruelty happening in the United States right now. I'm beside myself, you know, and it's horrifying to realize that this is the country we live in. It's and, you know, I have friends who have always sort of known this and seen this, and those people are kind of, you know, just sort of shaking their head at me like, come on, Christy, we've been telling you for years and, you know, decades that this stuff is happening, and I just didn't see it. Whether that's rose-colored glasses or what, I don't, or rose-colored lenses, I guess. I can't even say, but unfortunately, it's a fact, you know, and it's something that I now have to, you know, face, because I'm the type of person that I can't ignore something. Once I see it, I know about it, if that makes sense. So I can't unsee it. But anyway, what else did I want to talk about? So anyway, so I probably should not have that. I don't think it really matters, but anyway, I have to cough yet again. I'm sorry. It's the talking. I haven't been talking all day, so now I start talking, or all morning. Now I start talking and I start coughing. I'm trying to decide. I think I'm just going to use kids' school glue for this. So people are going through things that are exasperated because of COVID, and because of the the horrifying response by our government, that people forget, like, you know, that bad shit happens, and that, you know, it doesn't stop, or it doesn't, just because everybody's quarantined at home doesn't mean bad things don't happen in people's lives. So try to understand that, and, you know, maybe try to not be such a selfish person, because I see a lot of selfish people right now, like super selfish, rude people. So I just caution, try to, if you're being that way, whether you realize it or not, you know, maybe try to like have a little insight and stop being that way. I tried to go to the store yesterday, and that's the first time that I've been in a store. I think I've been to the store 3 times total where I had to go in since this whole thing happened. And I tried to go into the store yesterday, and this jerk walks right up behind me, even though, you know, like there's marks on the floor saying, you know, social distance and here's where you should stand. And this jerk just walks right up behind me and literally leans over my shoulder to look at something. And he has no mask on, you know, no gloves, couldn't care less, because some of the people here in Florida are just frankly ignorant. Hi, B. Who else is here? Hi, is it Haiti or Hattie? I'm not sure. You were halfway through the dolls one. Well, it's on YouTube. I'll make sure that it's on my main channel page. I'll make sure there's a playlist there for it so that you can finish watching it. I apologize. Again, like I said, I didn't even realize the website was down. But back to what I was saying, try to realize that you're not the only human being on earth, and that other people could be going through really terrible things that have nothing to do with this, that are just being made so much worse because of this situation. Other than sleeping, I have been working with my mom in our shared garden. I was going to do my own garden because that's what I used to do. But I've decided that I can't find the thing I was going to glue down. Oh, here it is. I decided that it seemed like it was silly to have 2 different gardens because my parents live right across the street. So instead, I'm just helping my mom with doing the gardening there. So we have a garden going. We did all of the little, Mom did all the little seedlings. And so they're just about ready. Some of them are just about ready to be planted in the planters. And then I also I have oak trees in my yard, and I've been, trying to handle all the leaves dropping. And I got annoyed finally and went online and started researching and found out that I can take those leaves and basically use them as a naturally occurring mulch instead of buying mulch. So I've been doing leaf duty and figuring out where and how I want to utilize them. And then I have been doing quite a bit of babysitting. My daughter and her partner are buying a home, and as well, just in general, babysitting so that they can do the kinds of things that they need to do as far as like going shopping and stuff without the children having to be even like, in the car or anything. So I've been doing a lot of that. And as well, I do, not that I have to go into the store, but I do like the pickup food runs and stuff for my parents and help them out with, more strenuous house cleaning and stuff like that. So I've been doing that. So I've been really busy, but I honestly haven't been, I hate the television. Oops, I took that off, didn't I? I hate TV. I don't ever watch, one of them's calling right now, so I'm ignoring it. I don't watch television. I just, and right now I couldn't watch it anyway. I would probably throw something at my TV. So it's better if I keep it turned off anyway, but I don't actually watch it. And I finally got to the point where I decided I needed to just step away from Twitter because of what happened with Bernie and my thoughts and feelings about that. I am no longer a registered Democrat. I am a registered independent now. Quite frankly, I think that I'm moving so far left that I don't have a place in any of the parties that exist out there right now. But I am, intending to vote Green Party regardless of which of their two top. I forget how many they have. They have like maybe 5 or 7 candidates because they have not finished their primary yet. But regardless of who ends up being their candidate, I like both of their top 2 candidates. So that's more than likely how I'm going to be voting this year. I am not someone who can create during extreme sadness. Interesting to know. I didn't know that about myself. Everything that we went through with Maddie, I was still able to create, but I have found it incredibly difficult to create. So I just haven't been. I think I've painted like maybe 3 or 4 pages in almost a month, which is terrible. It's so not me. I'm normally extremely productive, and in fact, generally, I create 3 or 4 pages in a day, but you can't force yourself to be who you're not, if that makes sense. And clearly I'm not someone who can create during a time like this. So I have not been creating. The last couple, like yesterday and the day before, I made 2 pages, one each day, and that's the most I've done in all this time, which is like wild. Oh, I did want to show for those who were around, I did go back into this page, and it had a sky right here with a really tiny moon, and I ended up painting over that because I got frustrated with my grain. What are they called? They're not silos or something else. Anyway, I got frustrated with them, so I redid them completely, and I'm really happy with them, but this needs a lot more work. And then I had put those really cool like embroidered bricks, and I ended up painting over those completely, which I was really sad about, but I just didn't like them, how they were turning out, so I painted over them. Anyway, I think that's about it as far as like the stuff I really felt compelled to, talk about or mention. And, I realized that some people might feel like, I've got big of a deal. I used to be very prolific and don't even know, he must have gotten my mailing address, my email address from the voter rolls, because I've certainly never donated to him. But he sends out this big, long, ridiculous email about how he's fully ready and prepared for us to open up our state. But yet our state's cases and death tolls is just like, a steep angle. There's been no curving at all. And I'm like, you're just a monster. Like, and I just get so angry at stuff like that I unsubscribed. I don't even, again, like I said, I don't know how he got my contact information, and I resent that he even had it. But I guess there's nothing I can do about it other than what I did, which was scroll down as far to the very bottom and find the little tiny unsubscribe link and then unsubscribe from it. And I felt like, I wish there had been an area where I could have sent him a note that said, I don't know how you got my information, but please just, forget I exist, because I find you even messaging me to be violation of my privacy. I don't know, whatever. My attitude is really bad. That is another reason why I have not been making videos, because my attitude is just so not productive, and I just sometimes don't see a point in belaboring, making people put up with my bad attitude. In other words, I don't know. So that's it. That's sort of the state of things. I don't see any purpose in even bringing that website back unless there's some need that that has nothing to do with video, because I'm not teaching classes anymore anyway, and that was largely the main purpose to me having a website. I had that website for a very long time because, for purposes of the fact that I was a programmer, and when you apply for jobs for that, they want to see, especially because I was also a designer, they want to see examples of what you can do. So that's really the only reason I ever had a website in the first place. And then, to host classes when I started doing that. But since I have no intention of ever teaching another class again, I don't see the point in keeping it. But maybe I'm, not seeing something, or, being short-sighted somehow. So, anyway, other than that, no, I'm not having any breathing issues, but I do have a nebulizer, and I do breathing treatments, and I'm very consistent with that. So that's the only reason why. My allergies have been, and a lot of people have said the same thing to me, that allergies have just been off the charts. So I definitely would be having a lot of breathing issues if I didn't have access to that. And I feel for anyone who doesn't right now, because I've noticed that people are also finding it difficult to get their inhalers, because if you don't have your insurance, your inhaler normally maybe was like $40 or $50 a month or per inhaler. But when you have sudden loss of insurance because of sudden loss of your job, because employers suck too, then you can't afford that, or you don't have that, sort of like discounted price, and so you go to buy an inhaler and it's like $150, so yeah. But having a nebulizer reduces the need for me to have an inhaler all the time. So it is what it is. And I have health insurance, to be honest with you. I can't act like I don't. I have, from what I've been told anyway, really great health insurance. I don't have the money to afford the copays to use that excellent insurance that I have. So I really, it's no different than not having any. I think a lot of people misinterpret that and they think, oh, you have health insurance, no, not if you can't afford to go, but whatever. Anyway, yeah, see, my attitude is just so bad. That's why I have just not, I've tried to just keep that nasty, bad attitude to myself. But anyway, other than that, I have spent some time reading and learning more about socialism and learning, weirdly enough, more about economics. And so, yeah, that's, like really weird because I'm like the opposite of that. I'm not a consumerist. I'm not a capitalist. Hence the reason why I never did really well at this whole online teaching thing, because I wasn't capable of the cutthroat behavior that the ones that you guys see that are doing really well. Yeah, I'm not capable of being that kind of person. So that's why I am now learning about economics, because, like one of my friends on Twitter said, at this point, to survive in this country, you need money. And if you have to be cutthroat and ruthless, then at least be cutthroat and ruthless against the right people, i.e., in other words, think in your head Robin Hood, and you start to understand. I think that's I agree with my friend that in a large part that is the only way at this point that as a society we're going to survive, until we can wrest back control of our government and, get it back to something that is actually to the benefit of the citizens of the country. So, and it says I can't access chat anymore. And I'm the person who's hosting the video, so that's weird. And I really don't know that much about how to get it back. Hang on a second. Please try again later for my own chat. So how do I do that? Maybe if I pop out chat, it'll connect it. Let's see. Welcome to chat, it says. I have no idea what... this is another example of I absolutely detest this new streaming studio thing that they force us to use. Why is it companies don't actually ever listen to their users? You know what I mean? Like, we've told them over and over again how terrible this thing is, how we don't want to have to use it, and they're just like, nah, you can use it or else. Yeah. So the or else part is when Christy actually starts learning about how to hit back at these this kind of treatment and behavior. But anyway, I guess I will be doing something with my last 30 years in life. It'll be fighting the system. Oh, I don't even know what I'm making here. I really love the orange in here, but I don't have the will to figure out what this color combination would really be. So, it doesn't necessarily fit, but I'll just keep working with it, and eventually I will get it all to kind of flow together. I don't really have much accomplished that I can show. Everybody saw this one, and then interestingly enough, like I said, I've done so little in here that it feels like I haven't done anything. I did do these. This, are they both gouache? This one is gouache. I guess they are both gouache, yeah. So I painted this one and then I drew a face on here like 3 different times, and each time I didn't like it. And so I just kept going back over it with gouache, and eventually it just ended up being like a kind of muddy mess. And then I liked it for some reason. So I went ahead and painted her, but you can tell like I'm not really into it, I guess you would say. It's just, it sort of shows, I think. And this also is some colored pencil, which you can kind of tell when I move it, parts of it shines. I did a lot of the, well, I think all of her face I did with just colored pencil, no gouache at all. I did this one this morning. And then, like I said, a lot of it is just I start it and then I just don't have the motivation to finish it. So I just have several of these kind of pencil drawing types of pages. This other one that I started with a little bit ago was the same way. This one here. It was just a pencil drawing, and the most I've done with it is put some paint on her hair. And that's pretty much about it. I think you guys have pretty much seen, there's only a few other things I've done in all this time. So yeah, not making much art, doing more art in the yard, I guess you would say. I did find an absolutely beautiful new, not new, but new to me, type of ground cover, I guess you would call it. And then I found a really cute thing that I'm going to be doing, which is actually the project I'm doing this afternoon, or this morning when I get done, is these pavers. Let me see, where is my phone? Here it is. See if I can show you. Come on. Doot. All right, so it looks weird here, but this is actually can be a ground cover. Nope, I don't want to go to that website. I can only show it to you in this tiny little picture, but it's actually a ground cover. It grows really low to the ground. There's another photo of it. That's what the little flowers look like up close. Anyway, so I'm planting that, and I have these like little garden stones, or I don't know what you call them, path bricks or whatever they are. And I'm taking them apart because I have them as like just a full patio, like, application. And I'm going to take them apart so that they do that checkerboard design. And all the areas, because I don't want to have the lawn part, so all the areas that are lawn, I'm going to replace with that ground cover that makes those little flowers. So that should be interesting. We'll see. And then I learned that I can take the oak leaves that I normally have to rake anyway, and instead of bagging them up, I can use them if you do them. I think it said 2 inches in depth. Is that right? 2 inches in depth, and then the more you walk on them, the more it kind of breaks them down, and they become more like a mulch, I guess. Good morning, Sally. They become like a mulch, and you can use them. They're apparently excellent for pathways, to create pathways that way. So that's what I'm going to do, is create pathways instead of just putting down, pavers, that's what they're called. Instead of just putting down pavers, I can put down pathways. So we'll see. That's my project for this afternoon. And then I think Mom is probably going to be ready to plant some of those seedlings into the actual garden boxes. So that's what I will be doing today. So how is everyone else doing? Is everybody doing okay? Um, go easy on yourselves, but also go easy on other people. That's the color right there. That's the color, I think, is take the purple and the orange. No, maybe, nah, not really. It's more of a darker gray. Hold on. Let's try this gray. Yeah, it's definitely more of an orangey gray. Cool. See, I told you I would find the color eventually. I need a darker one than that even. Yeah, I couldn't believe that guy in the store. I was just like, you know, here I am. I've got my mask on. I've got my gloves. I'm clearly uncomfortable. The clerks, luckily, have those plexiglass pieces now. So they, you know, I'm so happy for them that they don't have people like that jerk guy breathing in their faces. But he could see, I mean, there's no way around it. He could tell how uncomfortable I was. And he leaned over my shoulder. And I'm like, I felt like just turning around and just popping him one, you know, because people don't realize, I'm sure, I'm only like 5'5", and I probably weigh like 130 pounds. So I'm not a big person by any means. But that doesn't mean that my comfortable spacing between other people is any smaller. You know what I mean? Like my comfortable distance should be the same as a taller, larger person like he was. And people tend, uncaring or unkind people have a tendency to ignore the personal space of smaller people. It really just like, and I'm, you know, I literally could, I've had quite a bit of training in self-defense, Street Fighter training, which I loved and probably didn't, but I wanted to. Like, he was right up in my face. And even the clerk was looking at him like, what are you doing? You know, and he just had this big grin on his face like he thought it was funny. People in Florida are just ignorant. Like, there's just no excuse for them. You can't even excuse away their behavior now. And now they're talking about opening my state back up. They just want to kill people. I don't know. I just don't know. Anyway, I watched this awesome video this morning where this guy painted, this artist was painting these beautiful clouds in oil painting. And it wasn't someone I'm subscribed to, that I don't, never heard that voice before. So I think it was just like a recommended video that I clicked on, but I loved it. And so these were the colors of his clouds. So I think that's why I keep painting on them. Yes, I do not want to go to jail. I've been there once before, and it's chill because that's scary as all get out. I'm tough, but I'm not, I haven't found a cause I want to go to jail for, I guess. Oh, too funny. And I'm running out of paint in several paint colors, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should order from an online company or, you know, for craft paint, or just like brave Target to get some. I don't know. Or maybe I'll just stop painting with all those colors. Like, I had to mix red into this because this is like, you know how sometimes you buy a craft paint and it's so transparent, it's almost like using a glaze. That's how this was. So I put red in it also because it was like way too light of a color. And it's still totally transparent and yucky. But what are you going to do? I might have to buy paint. Oh, it's terrible. I'm in such a bad, grumpy mood. I shouldn't even be live. But I wanted to address the thing about the website because I just don't care. And maybe that's depression, and maybe I'll care in 2 or 3 months. But right now, I just can't be bothered. So what is everyone saying? How they're doing? Yeah, I refuse to go to Michael's. They still are allowing open and allowing walk-in customers here, and there's no excuse for that. So I will never shop at Michael's again. I already don't shop at Hobby Lobby because I think they're horrible people. But now I'm not shopping at this Michael's here because there's just no excuse on putting their employees at that kind of risk. It is not essential. Food is essential. Do you know what I mean? Basic living supplies are essential, but people should not be dying to buy paint or dying so we can buy paint. Do you know what I mean? And up until probably a week ago, they weren't even wearing masks. They weren't giving their employees any of the protective gear that they need to be open. And no, ours is open to foot traffic still. No, Florida is like, I have never, I mean, when we have hurricanes and things here, this kind of ridiculousness does not go on. Businesses shut down, people buy supplies, they stay home, they obey the laws, they obey, like just general, compassion to society. I have never seen the kind of stuff that's happening in our state right now. And I know it's our governor, and I know it's because Trump has decided to move here officially or whatever. I wish we could just kick him out, frankly, along with the governor. See, I can't even voice my thoughts because just bad words just want to come out. And I can say them, let me tell you. But yeah. No, they never shut down. They never even closed a foot traffic. And the funny thing is on Twitter, they have a Twitter account, and I have contacted them repeatedly, multiple times about it, and they don't even bother to respond back. They're like, we don't even care. And when you don't even care enough to say, I mean, they can't even give me a platitude as to why they're doing it. They just don't care. So if you just don't care about me, then you just don't need my money. So, and you don't need me telling other artists where to spend money there. So don't spend money there because they're terrible people. But then again, at this point, I think so many businesses are terrible people that, like, where are you going to spend money at? I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore, and I can't wrap my brain around the fact that so many things that I thought were like the way our country was or who we were as a society, and I was just, I can't, just can't. So this has not been very fun for you guys, has it? Me complaining, but this page is nice and colorful. And I think I've used like every color I could get my hands on. Well, no, there's quite a few. Amazingly enough, I have not added any pink to this page. I can't believe I haven't. They're being responsible in New Jersey. Good. Yeah, you were able to do curbside at your Joann's. I quit shopping at Joann's And I honestly, that's how bad it is. I can't even remember why I stopped shopping at Joann's. Um, there was a reason, though. They did something really ridiculous wrong, in my opinion. And I was just like, I'm done shopping there. I basically like there's no stores. We have a Joann's, we have a Michael's, we have a god awful Hobby Lobby. And I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. So I'm no longer shopping at any of them. Dick Blick, please never open a store here, so I will never have to. And as well, don't do terrible political things, and then I won't have to stop shopping there as well. In a year from now, I'm going to be out there like collecting leaves and making paint from them. What was it I just learned? Is it the oak leaves that you can make paint with? Darn it. I just learned something yesterday that I have in my yard or that I eat. I forget what it was now that you can make paint from. And I was like, really? I was blown away by that. They're only open on Thursday and they bring the order out. Yeah, yeah. They are doing curbside now at this Michael's, but again, it's still open to the public. You can just walk right in. You don't have to have a mask on. That's wrong, in my opinion. That's like my pet food store is still open, still letting people walk in. I was sitting there yesterday to pick up pet food at curbside pickup, and I'm watching these people like this, like sweaty guy goes walking in, no mask, no gloves. A young couple, the girl has a mask on, the guy doesn't. I'm like, what's the point to that? Like, how can you? I can't imagine. Thank God I live alone because I cannot imagine living with someone who isn't practicing safety when someone who has had a lung condition like I did will die if I get COVID. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It would kill me. I can't imagine living with someone who's like, I don't care. You know what I mean? How could you live with that person? I can understand now why the divorce rate in China went skyrocketing after they got out of quarantine. Like, I can totally see that. That's also like the people going online and whining about having to take care of their own children. I'm like, do you people not take care of your kids? Like, how can you just because school's out suddenly you're like, I can't parent anymore, because you've had to spend 2 weeks or 3 weeks alone with your kids? Really? Really? I mean, I know kids can get on your nerves, at a given time if they're making like a ton of noise or they're dragging out all the toys and making a mess or something, but that's just for a moment, you know what I mean? But these people are like every day. I don't know. My kid's teacher needs a huge raise. And not that they don't. They do deserve a raise. But, you should still be able to, if you don't like your own children, what are you doing with your life, I guess, is sort of the way I look at it. I'm like, what? You don't need one more thing to have to try. Yeah, I can't remember what it was that... Oh, I think it was just yesterday. It's got to have been the oak leaves because that's what I was researching. Maybe it was I forget. It was like the bark off the tree or something could be used to make an ink or a paint. Anyway, I don't remember. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, gardening is pretty much where I've been spending all my time. Definitely have not been able to make much art. Hi, Carol. Good 6 a.m. from British Columbia. Yeah, it is 9 a.m. here. Yeah, I can't remember, Sally, if it was I don't even remember if it was the oak tree or if it was something else because I probably researched like 4 different, so there were a couple of them because I basically want to, right now I have a yard that has a huge lawn area, and I would like very much to get rid of that, just for just because it's better for the environment if you're not mowing a lawn and you're not doing all the lawn type of things. So I was looking at plants that were obviously native, helpful to the environment. So, you know, like they are drought resistant. They attract birds, butterflies, and other wildlife. So that, and whatever plant it was that I looked up, one of them, it said you could make paint from it. So you could use it as a pigment. But yeah, at this rate, I'll be making all my own art supplies as well. Oh, also too, for my journal, I ended up having to, I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, you can see the shininess. The whole thing ripped because I followed the tutorial correctly. If I remember right, I didn't make any major changes to how I connected the covers. I don't think. But I must have done something different or something wrong because this whole end paper, it just ripped right through there. I don't know why. And I ended up using just clear tape on it to reattach it. And then this paint is still wet, so I can't completely close it. But on the back here, you can see it's starting to rip right here. So I'm going to have to do that as well. And then also, I bought gaffer's tape to use for the outside of it. And gaffer's tape isn't sticking. I don't, why is it not sticking? It's very sticky, but it's not staying stuck down. And you can see the paint, I painted it and the paint's not sticking to it either. So I don't know about that. I think I won't buy gaffer's tape anymore. But who knows? Yeah, so I think I'm pretty much not sure what I'm going to do with the rest of this because I really feel like I want to probably come in and blend some of this and probably work more of this in as well. But I kind of want to let it dry here for a few minutes just so I'm not lifting the layers back up when I do. And I don't think I have anything else to show off, sadly, because I just haven't been doing a lot. I showed you that. I showed you those. I showed you this. This is my most favorite page. Well, I just made it this morning, right? Yes, they're just regular file folders. Yep. I forget. I think it was two folders per signature, and I don't remember how many signatures I did. I think I did half of the box, and where's the box at? Oh, I put the box away, so I can't tell you. But I think it was 50 folders, so quite a lot. And yeah, I could have cut the ends off, but I love the fact that it's file folders, so instead I just left them. But anyway, what was I going to say? This one I did, this is actually a riff off of one I did in a different journal stream. I did a girl with these ears and I thought they were cute, so I did it again, and then I kept changing my mind, and so then I ended up painting in all these little areas. So I kind of like her and I kind of don't, but I'm keeping her like she is, and I think that's it. Like, that is all I have done. So obviously I have a hard time learn a new thing, you know, learn something new about yourself. Let's see, anything else anyone has said? Nope, that's about it. I think I've probably missed some stuff, but it's a little bit different, but similar, definitely. I was afraid because I had purchased some kind of inexpensive folders from like the dollar store, and when you get those wet, they get like this really weird texture, especially like if you use watercolor. I'm trying to think. I think I have a face in here that I painted with watercolor, but I think it's right in the very beginning. Yeah, right here. So when I painted this face, I was like really unsure. This was the first thing I did in here. And I was really unsure of how it would look, but I think it looks really good. It's definitely not the same though, and it requires, which most surfaces do if it's a new surface to you, it requires a bit of a learning curve to kind of figure out, okay, how is watercolor going to work on here? And then once you figure it out, instead of like getting frustrated and walking away from it because it reacts differently than what you expect, instead just figure out how it reacts, and then embrace that, and just kind of say, okay, so this is how it does, so this is how I will paint. And it might take you a few pages before you figure out the recipe, so to speak, or method, or system as to what you're going to do, or how it's going to work. But if you give it that time, or if you're open-minded about it, then I think you can paint on pretty much any surface. I have only ever found, I did one journal. Well, no, two things. I did one journal that was an altered book, and I don't have any idea what was up with that paper, but it didn't just warp a little or crinkle a little. It just went insane. It was like putting water on traditional vellum, and you see what happens to it. It like just goes, like it crinkles up. So I had one that was failed. I couldn't use that paper. And then, a really super thin magazine paper. You'll notice if you get it wet, it'll do that weird crinkly mess. And I ended up not finishing that journal. But other than that, those are the only two papers I've ever met that I couldn't find my way around. Do you use watercolor ground? I don't use any ground at all on my Dylusions journals, but I only like the ones that have the cream colored paper. Is this dry yet? No, it still has wet patches. So like this is the one that Linda C sent to me, and I'm gonna hold it up so I don't get it wet. So this is the more creamy manila sort of paper. You can see it's like a wildly different color. Like when I was using it, I kept thinking that it would be like a file folder, but obviously these are far more of an orangey color, but I love them just the same. But for this kind, I do not need to do any kind of a ground. The first one, the one that Laura C sent me, and I thought I had that here, but maybe it was this one that I had. Let me look up there on the shelf. Anyway, that one has every other page is the cream colored paper that I like, and then it's a white colored paper, and that white paper is supposed to be more like, I think, the watercolor paper. That one was not as much fun to paint on as far as watercolor goes. But yeah, I don't really use any kind of a ground or a gesso or anything like that when I'm painting, most of the time anyway, when I'm painting on paper, unless I'm using it just to kind of get rid of, like maybe I wanted to dull down the background first, or if I'm trying to bring the surfaces together so that they'll take paint the same way. And I think really I stopped using any kind of gesso or ground when I got back into doing watercolor, because I absolutely do not like how watercolor looks over top of gesso. I know a lot of people do, so I know I'm a little weird about that compared to the more norm of the curve, but I just have never liked the way it looked over it. Anyway, I think I'm going to go. I don't know how long, right around an hour. Usually my streams are like 2 hours, 3 hours, but I mostly wanted to come on and talk about the website because, like, uh, I don't want to just leave that question sitting up there on YouTube. Like, gee, she can't even pay for for her website or something. I could. I just don't really like. I didn't even know it was down, and by the time um, I saw that comment and realized it was down, I was like, what's the point really in keeping it? Other than obviously for Haiti for me to put the dolls class up so she can get access to that. Bye, Jill. Have a great day. I'm going to go too. Thanks everyone for hanging out and listening to me complain and, well, not really complain, but just kind of talk about how my terrible mental health is right now. At least I should be grateful I'm here and alive, right? We all are. Thank you. You too, Sally. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful day, and hopefully I won't stay away as long as I have. But yeah, I got to be in the right mental place, or this isn't, me being live wouldn't be any fun for anyone if I'm miserable the whole time. So I'll only try to do live when I'm in a good mood. All right. You're welcome, Haiti. And I will get that playlist. If it's not already set up, I will get it set up for you so that you can finish taking that class. It's nice to see you, Carol. I haven't seen you around in a while. All right, guys. Have a great day. And now I have to remember how to get out of here.